My dear student, good afternoon. Uh, in the series of problematic soils and their management, uh, course number code number SS 311. Today I will discuss about the reclamation and management of eroded soils. So this is a different type of problem which I have taught another problems in the series. Uh, Now I will cover this whole lecture, webinar lecture, in the different outline, objective, introduction, definition of eroded soil, types of erosion, types of water erosion, types of wind erosion, factors of water and wind erosion, management, conservation of wind and water erosion, mechanical, biological, agricultural and agroforestry, these methods for the conservation or management, conclusion, learning outcome, then references I will also quote. So major objective, the main objective of this topic is to introduce the student about reclamation and management of eroded soil. I just want to introduce about this topic in a very brief. Soil is the most indispensable gift of nature to human being. Soil always soil along with sunlight, air and water nourish all forms of life on planet. Productivity soil is the source of human sustainability and security. Nowadays, there is more danger for the productive capacity of soil in erosion, which remove the top layers of the soils containing all the principal plant nutrients and leave unfit for sustainable production. Now, heavy destruction of the natural productive covers like trees and grasses by indiscriminate cutting down of trees, forest fires, overgrazing and burning of the grassland. Mal practices in use of land such as up and down cultivation on the slopes, successive growing of crops that accelerates soil erosion, removal of soil organic matter and valuable plant food minerals by materials by burning and injudicious cropping practice and faulty method of irrigation. Now, I will define the eroded soil. There is no any difference in between eroded soil and soil erosion. Both are the same. So, this soil erosion is the process of destruction in the soil. The destruction and translocation by water and wind, in other words, soil erosion by denuding of land surface by detachment and transportation of the soil by action of the natural agencies like water and wind. The rich virgin soil, the nature may have taken 1,000 years to build are being lost in the only in few years. In very general term, we can define in this eroded soil the detachment of the soil particle by the wind and water from one place to another place is known as eroded soil or soil erosion. Now, the extent of eroded soil or the soil erosion amounts about 87% of the total area affected by various forms of the land degradation in India. The National Bureau of Soil Survey and Land Use Planning, Nagpur, have estimated earlier that total erosion, both water and wind, has affected 166.4 million hectare area, which account for 49.4% of the total area of the country. The soil lost by erosion on unproductive land is often as much as 50 tons a per acre and may go to higher as 1200 tons fertile soils per acre. Wind erosion is a very prevalent in arid and semi-arid region of the country. It covers 28600 square kilometer in Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, Punjab, out of which 68% is covered by sand dunes and sandy plains. It is estimated that 50% area for Rajasthan, 51% of Gujarat, 71.8% of area in Haryana, and similar area in Punjab are affected by wind erosion. Erosion by water is a very serious of land degradation and desertification in the country. On an average, 5.334 million tons of topsoils is lost annually, 16.4 tons per acre per year, though water erosion, which is about 1,600 million tons of topsoil, representing 30% area of the eroded by sea. Now, ravines, which are network of gullies associated with river system, after 3.97 million per hectare million per hectare in the country. Now, annual rainfall is lost as runoff carrying with its 20 tons per hectare soil and 18.7 kg nitrogen, 17 kg P2O5 and 41 kg of potash. Red soil and black soil removed 4 to 10 tons and 11 to 40 tons per year per hectare. Now the types of erosion. Now there are two types of erosion. One is geological erosion and another is accelerated erosion. First erosion, this is normal or geological erosion. It is a natural process going slowly by ages and mark the major features of the earth crust. It is destructive and constructive process under ideal natural condition with dividing any upgrading and aggregating. If equilibrium is disturbed by some outside agencies, the mature soil preserve more or less contents depend on characters individually. Now the second is accelerated erosion. This erosion this is the removal of surface soils from area denuded of the natural process cover as reuse of human being and animal interference place at faster. It is the type of soil erosion which are of serious concern. This nature require 1,000 to 2,000 years to build on the inch of the soil, but wrong farming method and other misuse of soil may take a few years to erode the land of average slopes. Types of water erosion. There are so many types of erosion in water. First is sheet erosion. It removes a thin cover of soil from large area, often from entire field during rainfall. During this erosion, false soil particles which form the thin top layer of the soil are taken away by the flowing water. As a result, yield of the field is slowly declined. Now the second is rill erosion. When sheet erosion allowed to continue unchecked, the siltation runoff form finger-style grooves in entire field, such as thin this channel is known as rill erosion. Slowly till rill erosion to get wider and deeper and reduce the actual area under crop, resulting with declining the area. Now third is gully erosion. This is third and advanced stage of the erosion. When lead erosion is neglected, the tiny groove develop into wider and deeper channel in huge size. This is called gully erosion. Gullies are symptoms of the destruction through swale erosion. They cut up large field into small fragments and it course of time make them unfit for cultivation. Now next is landslides or slope erosion. This is caused by the hydraulic pressure exerted on man-made slopes to strip for stability in wet condition on becoming saturated with water, great mosses of soils and loose rocks lying on slopes. Which come down badly. During this erosion, entire field or hillside may slide down. Now next is stream bank erosion. The bank stream of river get eroded every year by the flowing water. If certain areas and rivers often change their course bit by bit every year. During sudden flood, the fast flowing river undercut the banks and eroded the beds. When flowing water gets sudden twisted due to increased tension, the swale is eroded and swale deposited along the opposite bank. When the velocity of flowing water reduces, the process make the stream bank and deposited the small fragments near the twisted area. Now next is sea or shore erosion. The tidal water of sea cause considerable soil erosion. It takes place nearby in dry areas divided of vegetation where now the wind erosion is that it takes place near in the dry area divided of vegetation where wind velocity is high. Wind velocity beat over the open lands with increasing forces. The fine loose and higher swell practices blown from the surface of the land are taken miles and miles away. When the velocity of wind is retarded, coarse shore practices deposited in dense and retarded land become unfit for cultivation. Wind erosion is responsible for three types of swell movements in the process of wind erosion. First is saltation. The major portion of the swell carried out by wind is moved in the series of small bunches is called salting. The swell considered in saltation are fine particles ranging from 0.1 to 0.15 millimeter in diameter. It is caused by direct pressure of the wind on the swell particles, generally in vertical direction. Suspension. Very fine particles less than 0.1 millimeter diameter are carried out into suspension, being kicked up into the air by the action of particles in saltation. Suspended materials by the wind is carried to long distance from the original location and thus a complete loss to the eroded swell. Now surface creep. Grains larger than 0.5 millimeter is in diameter but smaller than 1 millimeter are too heavy to be moved in the saltation but are pushed or spread along the surface by the impact of particles in the saltation to form surface creep. Now, what are the factors of water erosion? First is a very important rainfall. It is depend on the rainfall, and rainfall, the detachment of particles is provided by rainfall. The high intensity of rain is associated with large drop size causing splosh erosion due to beating action of rains on the soil surface. Rainfall intensity, duration, volume of runoff are main cause for the water erosion. If there is a light rainfall, there will be no water erosion. If there is a more rainfall, there will be more water erosion. Percentage of slope and length. If land is slopy, increase 4 times velocity of water flowing on the slopes as approximately doubled. If the velocity of run of water is doubled, its erosion power is increased 4 times, rapidly increasing rate of soil loss as the field become steeper. Now, soil erodibility, the type of soil is which is permeability, texture, structure, and organic matter content affects soil erodibility by water. Heavy alkaline soil are highly sensitive to erosion. They get easily puddled and form an impermeable soils layers near surface and retard in the filtration left soil particles liable to erosion. Now the nature of plant cover. When rain fall on the surface covered by thick vegetation, most of the fine particles quickly in soil, while soil with thinner cover plants are able to absorb water. The fine soil particle go into solution, suspension, and the thick mixture of water and soil quick those close the infiltration which increase the runoff and erosion. Now soil erosion by wind. Wind is also an important factor that influence the soil erosion. The effect of the velocity of wind decrease and increase according to the presence of wind barriers in the form of grasses, shrubs, and trees. The soil lost by wind erosion is possible. The richest soil, then lighter soil. Now, biological factor of the erosion. One is human interference. The human interference is the major problem for the erosion, mostly due to deforestation or urbanization or this house building. Most of the productive land are undertaken under this scheme, and the soil become eroded after this human interference. Now, denudation of the vegetation cover is good on the top soil, then there will be less chances of the erosion than by wind or this water. Deforestation, mostly what happened with the use of the household practices. The trees are cutting down day by day, and total area of forest is reducing. Which due to which the deforestation is a major problem, and until unless you are not going to afforestation practices, the deforested area will be underway in the soil erosion and water erosion. Forest fire, sometimes due to the some natural forces, there is a fire in a forest, and mostly all the forest is fired, and there is a great loss of the forest. Now sheep or cattle denudate the land of productive cover. Mostly this is a common practice in traditional time, that the sheep is allowed to just graze the grasses in eroded land and in forest. So there is a steepness by their decks, and that soil is eroded after some times when the velocity of wind and velocity of water is become more high. Vegetation cover. I have already told that if the soil is covered by the vegetation, there will be very less erosion if it is not covered by if it is naked. then there will be more intensity of soil erosion by water and wind. Overgrazing of pasture land, pasture by cattle, it is a very natural phenomenon. Mostly this Anna Pratha is very popular, very popular in the this Bundelkhand region. Mostly the cattle are left in the night or in the day. They go and the field and graze the crops, and mostly by their movement there is the erosion of the soil by air and water. Shifting Jhum cultivation, it is a very traditional practice when there was a scarcity of the lands. So mostly what happened, the people start the farming at a single place and take the cropping for 4 to 5 years. When the productivity was down, then they again transferred or shifted to another place. So this types of cultivation is known as Jhum cultivation or shifting cultivation. It is also a source of the this erosion. Now, faulty cultivation practice. Mostly, mostly the farmer are doing this faulty cultivation. They plow their land along the slopes, and mostly they give the more irrigation to the water. That's why the soil is degraded due to soil erosion and water erosion. Now, management of eroded soil. First, the capability clauses is very important. Let me discuss this what is capability clauses. So, land should be selected according to land capability clauses. There is a different clauses. Class 1, it is land suited to regular cultivation, very good land. Class 2, land is good, can be useful for cultivation. Class 3, this land is moderately good and can be used for cultivation. Class 4, it is fairly good land but its safe cropping is very limited. Class 5th and 6th and 7, not suited for any cultivation but may be used for grazing or forestry cultivation. Class 8th, this land is suited for wildlife recreation or watershed protection. It characterized by extreme steeper roughness and stones. Now, mechanical measures, you can manage the soil conservation or the soil erosion or wind erosion by the mechanical measures. First is a basin. A small basin through basin listening is formed along the contours. The span breaking of hard pan or interval of 90 to 100 cm on contour to improve the percolation and drains. Subsoiling, there is already subsoiling machine which are used to breaking the hard pan by subsoils and improving hard soil. Contour terracing, the principle of contouring erosion to check the runoff on sloping land. Now, channel terraces and graded bunding. Channel terraces or graded bunding are formed on mild sloping land and higher rainfall area. Slopes more than 6% and rainfall more than 800 mm. Broad-based ridge terrace, it consists of wide waste low embankment formed on contour for both sides. It more suited to low rainfall area and prevent damage to growing crop. Narrow-based ridge terrace, it consists of the wide base low embankments formed across the contour slope and land 7 to 15% bunds are constructed on agricultural land at a slope of about 10%. Bench terrace, this is use of bench terrace or steep slopes in order to do the cropping or slopy land. It is constructed along the outer ridge of the terrace. It is recommended on 33% slope. Contour, this trenching, it consists series of trenches of 60 and 30 cm across the slope at suitable interval. Gully control in India, it is about 2.3 million hectare land is affected by the gully erosion. Gullies often start at banks of natural resources which are eroded at a great depth. This area is too steep and eroded. The moderately sloping land should be used for farming. The agroforestry and plantation of ashes is very successful in eroded land. Now reserved farm pond can also be farmed to collect the water and runoff. Stream mark protector, burned slopes are growing vegetables. Structure is deflected of river current and stars which cover stairs which cover affected area surface land. Now the biological practices which are adopted mostly in conservation of soil and water. This contour farming I have already told. The slope 1-2% on steeper slopes. This gully land contour farm can be done. Tillage operation should be done, and deeper tillage. There should be shallow tillage, not deeper tillage. Deeper tillage should not be allowed. Mulching, surface cover by organic residues. This may be rice straw, wheat straw, or this is the organic residues of the different plants. Afforestation means the forest growing of agroforestry plants in the eroded land. It may be by water or maybe by soil erosion. Conservation tillage, it means the use minimum this mechanized farming and use conservation tillage, this traditional practices, so that save the soil. Now zero tillage is a very conventional this process, and it is mostly adaptable in that area where the rice is harvested in later stage. Then they don't any tillage, only they farm the furrow by spade or kudaal and sow the seed with a very minimum amount of the fertilizer, and this process is known as zero tillage, and it is a very possible or very effective in mostly the eastern UP and western UP. Reduced tillage, the number of tillage should be reduced. The one should go to the shallow tillage, not the deeper tillage. Now mulch tillage means mulch tillage. There should be mulching of the materials on the surface of the soil. Conventional tillage already, but desi plow and the Mexican plow may be used, so that it cannot go deeper and spoil the system of the soil. Water harvesting, mostly this is a very good practice to store the water near the pond from upland area to lowland area. In lowland area they form the water pond or water harvesting devices. After run of the rainy season, after running of the water, the whole water is poured down in the ponds that is used for the this irrigation during the scarcity of water. Cover crop, if crop is covered in the field, there will be very less damage by the beating of this raindrops or this velocity of wind. Trials of cropping sequence, mostly in wind area and this water erosion area, the mixed cropping and this deep rooted crop should be grown. Strip cropping, the cropping should be done in strips. Mostly it is a very common practices in this wheat cultivation. They make a very small strip and do the farming. Field strip cropping, in field there is a divided in different strips and they do the cropping. Wind strip cropping means where the wind area intensity is more, then they plant some windbreak plants like this sesbania, this eucalyptus, and this hecha and sugar. Buffer strip means cropping means the plantation of grasses for erosion reducing crops. Now, how we'll manage the wind erosion? We will conservation of moisture. Moisture should be conserved by mulching or by crop cover, and this provision of soil cover. Soil must be covered so that the residual moisture should not be lost. So mostly the crops should be grown. Mostly the dense populated crop or mixed cropping should be done. Provision of windbreaks. I have already told that this sugarcane plantation of acacia, plantation of hecha, plantation of this eucalyptus and this sugarcane. It is a very important to check the wind. In Rajasthan and Haryana, mostly the people are growing this nakfan to check the windbreak. This stabilization of depleting sand, planting of sidewalk trees of grasses, mostly in this sand dunes, the plantation of green grasses and this trees should be done. Green manuring, mostly after green manuring, when you turn down the green manuring, they decompose and form the organic matter. They help the binding capacity of the soil and they reach the organic matter which have binding property, and there is a very little loss of the nutrients and as well as this one by erosion. Planting of bear, bale, amla, guava and falsa, these are the arid fruits. This can be well planted in the semi-arid arid region where the chances of this erosion is more. Now afforestation on sand dunes, mostly in sand dunes near the you can do the afforestation mostly in sand dunes and in gully erosion where the ravines are present, mostly in Rajasthan, mostly in Bhind and Guyana in Madhya Pradesh. So the mostly people planted the acacia, babu, to protect the soil. Next. Now I want to conclude this whole lecture. In India, a total of 150 million hectare land degraded to erosion, out of which 111.26 million hectare is affected by water erosion and 38.74 million hectare by wind erosion. Water erosion may be managed by the biological and mechanical method such as controlled farming, tillage operation, basin control plants, water harvesting, and appropriate water management and drainage system. While wind erosion may be managed by windbreak, dune dense cropping, growing of deep-rooted crop, grasses, mulching, planting trees and sand dunes, agroforestry, and lake farming. So many adverse effects of water and wind erosion are very obvious, such as land degradation, loss of soil productivity, loss of vegetative cover, loss of biodiversity. Now I have the most, after this lecture, the learning outcome of this lecture is in the last student could be quite competent to know the type of factors and conservation practices of water erosion and wind erosion. They can be mitigate the problems through mechanical, biological and agroforestry of eroded land in their specific region. I have taken the this different literature of these differences. S.R. Reddy, 2016 Principle of Economy, Kalyan, published in New Delhi. V.C. Srivastava, 2011 Management of Problematic Soil, Agro-Bias, publisher, Rajasthan, Jodhpur. Dhruv Narayan and Ram Babu, 1993 Soil and Water Conservation Research in India, Asia Publication, New Delhi. Tejwani 10, 1975 Soil and Water Conservation Research, Asia, New Delhi. So This is in all I have delivered the lecture, and it is requested that you go to the PPT and my video and attend the webinar seminar today at 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. And if there is any question, you please note down and ask during the this webinar process. Thank you very much.